It's the Pumpkin Podcast, coming to you live from somewhere in Massachusetts. What's up, guys? Episode 5. Episode 5 here, dude. So, originally, when I started doing this, I didn't say it to you guys, I said it to myself. I'm going to see what I feel like at episode 5. I'm going to see how I feel. And that's going to determine if I keep doing it. And I think I'm going to keep doing it. I feel good. I feel good doing this. I like it, you know. Last episode, I just uploaded it yesterday. It's only got like 9 views on it. I just don't think everyone has seen it yet. People have been pretty inactive on the server the last couple days, so I'll let it slide. But it's officially fall. It is officially the start of the seasons that I actually like. And I am fucking ecstatic about that. No more heat. No more fucking hot summer hell. Now I finally get to enjoy life. And dude, it's about fucking time if you ask me. Alright? These last few summers, and even dating back to 2016, if you look at the statistics, it's been sweltering hot. And this year, we broke the global heat record. It was the hottest summer on record for the entire world. And that's fucked up to me. And there's only going to be more of that. So, I want to enjoy these months from now until early April, when it starts to get shitty and buggy and muggy. I'm going to savor these months. So, Halloween's coming up, next big holiday. I'm fucking psyched, dude. I love Halloween. You know, it's not like it was when I was a kid where I could go out and, trick or treat and whatever. Or, when I was in my early 20s and I would fucking go to parties or, go to bars and shit, go bar hopping, But it's still fun as shit. I can still eat disgusting food. Not as much this year because, I'm trying to watch that shit. But, dude, watching fucking scary movies and decorating, it's all good, man. And we actually, last week, my wife, when I was at work, she decorated the house. So we've had our lights up, all of our Halloween shit up for the last week. And it's awesome, dude. I love the vibe. I love the ambiance. It's fucking great, dude. To come home, after a long day of work, and it's just orange and white and purple lights everywhere. It's amazing. Fucking love that shit. And on the subject of Halloween, alright, I feel like it should be a national holiday by now. And I know what you're gonna say, alright? It's not tied to anything historical, really, no historical event. And, it's pretty much just a cash grab for candy companies to sell more candy. But if we're factoring in the fact that it's pretty much the same deal with Christmas, then I think it should be one of the ones that we let slide, Because I don't care if you're religious or whatever, and there's a religious thing tied to Christmas for you. All right, whatever, I understand. But the image of Christmas as we know it now was manufactured by Coca-Cola back in the 1940s. The whole red and white suit with the hat and all that shit, Santa Claus. It was created by Coca-Cola. Some of you might not have known that, some of you might have, but it's true. So the image of Christmas that we have now, and all the decorations that we put up, and all that shit, what is traditionally known as, Christmas colors and whatever, you know what I mean? Like just the overall, the optics of Christmas, those things were all ultimately started by Coca-Cola. And then obviously they branched off into other things that we made into our own. But, I mean, generally that's what it was. Also, if we're talking about, you know, the day, like, commemorating whatever, Jesus' birthday. Okay, first of all, it wasn't December 25th. We know it would have been sometime like in April or some shit. And also, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but from my perspective, we don't even know if the guy existed, right? He may have, he may not have, who knows? But all I'm saying is that it's hardly about that. Christmas is hardly about that. It's more about the fact that it's a week before the year ends, and you know, what better way for companies to sell their shit, you know, to maximize their profits for the year, than to just do a big dump of their product right at the end of the year. I mean, it's genius, you know. And I drank the Kool-Aid. I drank the Kool-Aid. I love that. I love the fact that I can give people gifts and feel good about that, and also receive gifts. And I'm like, you know, this is awesome. I get free shit. This is cool. I fully endorse that. I do love the holiday, man. It's cool. But you know what? But my point is, if that's going to be the case with Christmas, the biggest holiday of the year, then I think that Halloween is big enough. You know, and for some people it's even bigger of a holiday. I think that for Halloween, we could definitely make that same exception. We could definitely turn it into a national holiday where we all get the day off, or if you work, you get time and a half, right? Because, dude, on top of that, if you do work Halloween, it's the fucking craziest day, dude. It's so busy. Like, it's insane, dude. You get overrun with people, you know, obviously. And they're usually drunk. And if you have to deal with that, I feel like just the very fact that people take it so seriously, the holiday, that I just feel like, for the sake of, like, employees and just people in general, even if you don't work, even if you just go to school, I just feel like it's such a hectic day. It should just be declared a fucking holiday already. You know, no matter what your opinions are on Christmas, I was just using that as an example of, you know, the fact that they're very similar and that companies are selling a shit ton of shit. And so it's a really busy day for everybody. So, I'm psyched though. I'm psyched for Halloween. I'm psyched for the fall. I'm more excited for winter. We're finally here. It feels like, you know, the days of this year are numbered. I know literally they are. But I mean, it just feels like we're crunching out the remainder of this year. And I fucking love that, dude. I'm so excited to just get to the days where I'm having fun all the time. So, another cool thing is that, and the reason why I'm excited to finish out the year. I'm not excited for next summer for the fucking weather, obviously, but there is one thing that I look forward to for next summer, and that is that my wife's parents, my in-laws, they bought a camper for like 50 grand. It's enormous. It's like the size of my apartment. And dude, it has like a loft. It has a bedroom. It has like a full kitchen. It's fucking huge. So what they did was they're both in retirement. Well, my mother-in-law's in retirement officially. My father-in-law he's going to retire in February around my daughter's birthday. So basically they bought this big ass camper, and what they're doing is they're renting out a campsite in New Hampshire year round. So essentially they own that campsite. They just got to pay for it every year, which they're going to. And what they're doing is they're just parking that big ass RV on that lot and just leaving it there year round. So what we're going to do next summer is me, my wife, and my daughter, we're all going to go there because I'll have the summer off from work, and she's going to take some time off from work too. And we're going to go there for like a week, and we're just going to have this massive camper all to ourselves. And I'm so fucking excited about that, dude. Like, we're actually going to have our own family vacation. Like, that is shit that I've, like, dreamed about, you know? Like, I remember when my daughter was born and thinking about all these, like, grand plans that I have for us and all the road trips we're going to take and all the cool stuff we're going to do. And I didn't think that it was going to happen this soon. I was like, oh, yeah, maybe, like, a few years, you know, when we start being able to save more money and blah, blah, blah. But, dude, it's going to happen. It's happening now. And it's just amazing because we didn't have to pay for it, you know? Like, it just feels so cool to have in-laws that actually, like, care about doing cool shit and are willing to, like, you know, let us use the camper whenever we want. Like, we can go there whenever we want. We could go there right now. And it's just so crazy. Like, it's such a parallel from my family. Like, my family, I don't talk about them a lot because we're not close at all. You know, we're all kind of separated. We all just have our own stuff going on. And, you know, a lot of us are broken up into different states. And then there's some of us that just don't get along, you know? So it's, I don't know, my family, it's kind of a weird situation. Her family, though, is very much close and involved in each other's lives, and they do things together. And so, another thing is, when you go camping with them, which I have a couple times, they do things right. Like, I remember when I was a kid, and my grandmother would want to go camping during the summer, and it was the most boring shit ever. I fucking hated camping. I dreaded it. And she loved it because she liked being out with nature. But it's like when I was a kid, there was nothing to do. All you did was you showed up to the campsite, and my grandmother had this tiny ass little camper, and she would also bring a tent in case we had guests. And literally, you would just sit outside in the quiet and just listen to the woods. You know, you'd bring food, you'd eat, you know, 3 times a day, and that was it. That was all that you did. You had a fire sometimes. That was it. There was no entertainment. And back when I was a kid, you know, before iPods, well, actually, iPods came out when I was like 13. But before that, you would have a Walkman. Now, I'm sure some of you don't know what a Walkman is. It's just a portable CD player. Or you would have a cassette player, which I actually preferred because you could, if you had a stereo, you could play a song on a CD and hit record on the cassette player. And you could it was like burning a CD, just with a cassette. Like, you just record the songs off the CD. You hit record as soon as the song starts, and then you press stop as soon as the song ends. And you just do that with all the songs that you want to put in your cassette. And back then, that was like how you had it, like an iPod, you know, that was like the way. Or, you know, if you knew how to burn CDs on a computer, you would just take a blank CD and download songs onto it via your disk drive. So anyway, because of that, because technology back then was so limited, there was nowhere to, like, charge these things. You didn't have charging stations. Micro USBs, they didn't fucking exist. At least not, you know, they weren't portable. So you would have to bring batteries. And I was always using, like, mismatched batteries from, like, a junk drawer, you know, just random batteries from random things. And 9 times out of 10 when I would go camping with my grandmother, my Walkman would fucking die. Both of them would die. My Walkman and my cassette player, they would just die. And it would be like a day or 2 days in. And that was really my only form of entertainment, was just listening to music and just like daydreaming. Like that was all that I had to do. And it was so fucking boring, dude. Like my shit would die and I would just be stuck there for like 3 days, 4 days with nothing but the woods, looking at fucking trees from morning to night. Nothing at all to do. There was like a lake nearby and we would go swimming in there sometimes, but it's like, dude, after day 2 of the lake, it got fucking boring. You didn't want to do it anymore. So it was either sit there in silence, eat way too many snacks because you're just eating from boredom, or go swimming in this boring ass fucking lukewarm pond that it's just not even fun after the first couple days. It sucked, dude. So anyway, so my wife's family, they know how to do shit. Like, they plan things around camping. Like first of all, they have an RV, and even their camper that they've been using up to this point, it's got shit in it, right? It has like a TV in there. There's a little stove in there if you want to make breakfast. You know what I mean? And my grandmother's camper had all that shit, but we would go to a campground that didn't have a power outlet. So, it would just be dark in there. You couldn't do any of that shit, right? All she would do she would hook up the water line so that you could fucking take a shit, and that'd be it. So my wife's parents, like, they have all this cool shit, first of all. But not only that, they plan things, like, around camping. Like, not just at the campsite, right? And they do plan stuff there. Like, there is a lake there, but they bring kayaks, right? They bring kayaks if you want to go kayaking. They fucking, they bring alcohol. I mean, I know some of you can't drink yet, but, they bring that. They bring, they bring floaties for the kids so that they can go out on the water if they want to. They can fucking, we have planned bonfires every night, and since the whole family goes, there's like 5 or 6 different lots that the family rents out, and like each, section of the family stays at each site. So they plan, bonfire at site number 1 tonight, bonfire at site number 2 tomorrow, bonfire at site number 3 the day after that, and so on. So there's like, it's like an event, you know what I mean? It's like, there's something always happening. It's interesting. Oh, we're having the bonfire at the other site tonight. And we're going to do whatever they planned for entertainment, right? And that's another thing. They'll play like games. We'll have like card games. We'll have like board games. And then they make like plans to go off of the sites, away from the campground. So like, we'll have plans to go get ice cream. Like there's this local ice cream place. They have their own cows, it's like fresh ice cream. We'll have a day where we go and do that. There'll be a day where we go to this place called Pizza Barn, and it has the most massive fucking pizza you'll ever see in your life, and it's delicious. And it's just like this giant, it's literally like a barn. And yeah, dude, they have like the best pizza in the fucking world. They have pool tables there. They have an arcade. And it's a great fucking time, dude. So yeah, every year we'll make a day to go there. And, there's other stuff too. Like sometimes the guys go golfing. I'm not a golfer, but that's just like another thing that they do. And then there's another day that they plan where there's like this hiking trail that goes all the way up like this mountain. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the mountains in New Hampshire, but they're massive. And on the campsite, or the campgrounds, I should say, there's a trail where you can literally go up the mountain, and you can be standing like near the top of the mountain. So that's another cool thing, dude. I don't usually do that because usually like I'm more interested in playing games. Like there's another game called Cornhole we play a lot, which is a lot of fun when you're camping and having beer. So, I'm usually engaging in like the activities part. I don't want to fucking do a whole workout while I'm there. But dude, they do camping the right way. And it's just so refreshing to me because I'm like, dude, it took me this long. Like, it took me until, I don't know, the first time that I camped out with them, I think I was 26 years old. It took me that much of my life to find a family who actually does things like the way I feel you should do things. So it's nice. So next summer, yeah, we'll be able to go camping, and we'll be able to plan shit like that ourselves, and invite people there ourselves. And it's just so cool to me. So yeah, man, that's a little bit of what's been going on with me lately. And man, it's awesome to be recording today, dude. I got so much sleep last night. I feel fucking great today. Yeah, obviously took care of my daughter this morning. My wife got home a little while ago, and man, me and my daughter were in such a good mood, dude. I was just like, this is a great fucking day. Like, it feels so relieving. So there are a lot of questions that I gotta get to because they've been piling up. I answered a few yesterday, but they were just kind of the smaller questions. Nothing to really get into with those. But so I really want to get to those because I feel like this is going to go on so fucking long. So I'm going to start right now. All right. Agent, you asked me, what's my Tetris high score? All right. So Tetris is such an old game that it's even past my time. But when I was a kid, it was still very popular. So when I was really, really little, it was kind of like a competition between my friends because it was such a popular game. Like, I think it came out in like the late 80s. I was born in the early 90s, but like even in the 90s, it was really popular. So everybody wanted to see how high you could get on Tetris. Like, the levels didn't matter at all. It didn't actually matter what level you got to. It was the score that mattered, right? Because you can get to like level 5 and have a really low fucking score because you cleared it so quickly. So, I think my score is probably between like 500,000 and 600,000 because I remember like the benchmark was to have a good score. It was like 500,000. That's considered like a good score. So I'm pretty sure we all passed that, but I don't know exactly like how high my score went. I could have broken 600,000. But it was so long ago that I don't even remember. I just remember that the benchmark was like 500,000 points, and I remember passing that, but I don't actually know exactly how high I got. I mean, we're talking like 25 years ago. So, I mean, but to answer your question, it was probably significantly high. Not the highest by a long shot, but it was a really good score, at least. All right, next question. Kitten Bus dropped in. Hello, Kitten Bus. I can't even believe this, dude. Kitten Bus asked me a fucking question. All right. Kitten Bus's question was, how much do you know about Pokemon? Have you ever played a game? And what's your favorite Pokemon? Dude, I know a lot about Pokemon. I was alive when Pokemon was created. But I'm not aware of like what's happened in the world of Pokemon in probably the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years. But the original 151, I used to be able to like name every single one in order. So the first gen of Pokemon I'm very, very familiar with. I owned all the games. Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Yellow. And I played those games religiously, dude. Like, I beat all of them probably like 20 fucking times each. And I knew I had a what was called a Game Shark. It's like it was a cheat code thing. You would connect it to your Game Boy, and it would tell you all the cheats for that game. So I had a Game Shark for my Pokemon games, and so I was getting like all the rare Pokemons and shit, or Pokemons. So I was like really, really fucking into that game. And what's interesting is at there's this mall called the South Shore Plaza. It's actually like one of the biggest malls in America. I lived right down the street from it. I grew up down the street from it. So what they would do is like every couple of weeks, maybe once a month, they would have Pokemon tournaments there. So you would just go with your Game Boy. You know, there would be a theme. You know, it would be one of the games, one of the main games that you would play. You know, and you had a connector cable so you could connect your Game Boys, and you would battle each other. And whoever won the tournament would get a super rare Pokemon downloaded onto their Game Boy. So whoever was hosting the event, he would have like a bunch of fucking rare Pokemon on his Game Boy, and he would just connect to your Game Boy and give you that Pokemon. It was so fucking cool. And I never won a tournament because there was a lot of shady shit going on, dude. Even back then with simple technology like a Game Boy. And even though I had a Game Shark, there were people who had impossibly strong Pokemon. And I was like game breaking was even a thing back then, even with the limited technology. So I never won, but I had a lot of fun doing it. And I did a lot of them. Also, I grew up down the street from this comic shop called New England Comics. And they would have card tournaments. So I would do those sometimes. And I actually did win a tournament once. The only thing that sucked about those tournaments was you had to pay like $5 to get in. And if you won, all you got was like 3 booster packs. Which, I mean, whatever, like, luck of the draw, I guess. Some people did pull some rare cards from the booster packs. I had no such luck. I mean, I pulled a couple of, regular rare cards. Not like super rare, nothing to write home about. But, I mean, that was a lot of fun too. Although, dude, at those tournaments, like, people who lost would go out into the hallway and just start playing games with each other out there, and they would play each other for cards. I did the same. But there was a lot of card swiping. Like people would bring friends to distract you for a second, to take a rare card and run the fuck down the street with it. So that was a shitty part of it. But all in all, the tournaments were fun. They got pretty aggressive. But I think they still do tournaments to this day. I'm not sure if they do Pokemon, but I know that they still do Magic the Gathering. I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was into Yu-Gi-Oh! They would do those tournaments too. I did a couple of those. I never won a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament though. But those were a lot of fun too. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm very familiar with the first gen of Pokemon. That's sort of when I did all that. And then second gen as well, with Pokemon Silver and Gold. I had both those games, beat them multiple times. I loved the next, whatever it was, 100 Pokemon that came out. I thought they were all really cool. And I got pretty familiar with that. But Pokemon kind of faded out, I don't know, for me in like, I want to say 2003, maybe 2004, because I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I started getting really into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was so lucky with Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster packs. I started pulling more and more rare cards, and that kind of just encouraged me to play that game more. So yeah, I'm very, very familiar with Pokemon, the first 2 generations. Also, my favorite Pokemon is Flareon. I actually, to this day, I have a holographic Flareon. I also have a bunch of other rare cards that I bought at auctions, but yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, I have some really rare cards that I pretty much stole at auction because the price was so low. So yeah, Flareon's definitely my favorite. All right, on to the next one. Frog. Why, paraphrasing here, why do people use hand wraps for boxing, and are they reusable? Yes, they're reusable. They're made out of cloth, and you wrap your hands to protect all the little bones in them, so that you're not like, your bones aren't like splintering in every direction, and you're not breaking your hands. It keeps them so that the bones aren't moving so much when you're punching things all the time. I've actually fucked up my wrists a few times because I hit things too hard without wraps on. And they are reusable. They're made of cloth. You can just wash them in the washing machine like normal. And yeah, and you should wear hand wraps. It's the safest way to do anything with boxing. All right. Next thing, Frog. This is the last question. You asked me, what's your favorite movie? Holy shit, dude. All right. This is like right in line with the music question that Blend You Bro asked me. The movie has to be exceptional. You know what I mean? It's got to be profound. It has to stand the test of time. And there's just so many. There's so many of different genres that I love. And you know, I'll dive into that on another episode, probably next month when we get closer to Halloween. I'll dive in on some horror stuff, but I think all in all, I do have an answer, and I think I gotta go with Frank Miller's Sin City. I think that's my favorite movie of all time, and if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's a fucking masterpiece, and it's really underrated. Like, a lot of people shit on it. I don't know why. It's like the perfect movie. The stylization, the directing, the acting, everything. It's so fucking on point, dude. In the movie, there's 4 different stories going on at the same time, and 4 different corners of the city. And it's like, you know, they intertwine in certain ways, and certain things are related to other events that happen, and it's just so perfect. Like, there's so many different narratives going on at one time, and it's just the transition to each story. It's amazing. It's incredible. I really recommend that movie, and I definitely got to say that that's probably my favorite of all time. But I'll talk more about cinema in another episode. So that's it for questions for the week. We're going pretty long here. I'll leave on this. You know how people say they like cats because of how independent they are and how, you know, they can have a pet that will actually fuck off when they need them to? That is not my cats. And I blame myself for it, because when we got our cats, it was in June of 2019, we literally, like, raised them to be more, like, dog-like. Like, we wanted them to love us for real. And they do. And now it's biting us in the ass, because when I put my daughter down for naps, my cats are fucking all over the place. All the time, dude. They have energy up the ass. They're fighting each other. They're fucking... And they never leave us alone either. Like, we'll be sitting on the couch every 5 minutes periodically. Like, they go in circles. They'll just jump up on you, jump down, jump up on you, jump down. I do not have cats at this point. I have little tiny whiskered dogs. And I just want to know if anybody else has cats like that. So, all right. That's it for this week. This one went pretty long, but I had a lot of shit to talk about. So, and there's even more stuff I could talk about, but I got to get home and watch this event. I got to eat something too. So, I'm going to wrap this up now. And everybody have a great day, and I will talk to you next week.